Timothy Morrill. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Wow, a lot of people showed up.
Okay, I'll move on. Next on the list is just the initials TU. I'll move on, and then finally I have Whitney Holiday.
Hi, yeah, I'm here. My government name is Whitney. I go by Helen, but I do want to talk to the board today, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know there were a couple of
You guys are not very
folks
good at
who
public
didn't get an
speaking.
opportunity to introduce themselves. Let me see here. So if anybody was skipped or didn't hear their name called, please unmute and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jamie Williamsey. I'm just observing, and I have no public comment. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I see Christina Keefe raised her hand. I'm sorry that somehow I missed you in the list. Sorry about that, but please introduce yourself.
Problem. Thank you, Dr. Rinaldi. I'm Christina Keefe, the Executive Director of the Portland Veterinary Medical Association.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rinaldi. That's a long list. We have a lot of public participants, and I think that's great and it's exciting. I really appreciate, I know Dr. Rinaldi does and the board does appreciate public participation. We're done with roll call. We are on to board chair comments.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming. It's very exciting to have so many people here. As
They don't
Director
really
Burns
care.
said,
He's
we
lying.
like getting feedback from the community. We like that public engagement. So thank you all so much for coming. Do bear with us. Obviously we have some time and scheduling things we're working through, and of course a lot of folks that looks like would like to make a comment. So without further ado, I think we can probably move into that. Pete, it sounds like we have kind of our list to get started with.
Yeah, we do. We have a few public comments from folk that sent in a couple of letters, and then one is a request for a waiver, and I think that one we're going to have to table until we have quorum. So the letters we can review because it's the public giving us information and shouldn't require deliberation. The board can look at these or anything and then direct staff to add to an agenda item for future discussion or deeper discussion or deliberation at a future meeting. So we'll bring those up, but Brooke, that one on my screen looks really small. I don't know if we'll be able to, I don't know if that's the same for everyone.
Okay, hold on, let me try to fix it.
Thanks. In your board packets, this should be, there we go. This is a letter. Is this the one from Merle Weiner?
Yes, it is.
Hi, guys. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm going to speak with the board here soon.
Okay.
The Oregon Vet Board.
This has been on your board packets for a little while, board members, so you should have had time to review it, but we can take a moment here to look at it. Again, we're not discussing this. This is a letter that's giving us information, asking us to consider something, so we can look at this and then discuss it more in depth later. Sorry, Brooke, can you expand that just a little bit? It's cutting off the edge. Or maybe that's the way it was scanned.
And Joanna, as a point of clarification, if there's something that a board member wants to bring back for the agenda,
I'm going to speak with the Oregon Vet Board here soon.
Call that out as something we want to bring back.
To be honest, the safest thing to do, OGEC has said that you can receive information. There shouldn't be any kind of discussions. So the safest thing to do would be have that discussion that you want to bring it back once you have quorum.
Hi, I'm going to speak with the Oregon Vet Board here soon.
looking at my version here, Brooke. I've got a kind of a cleaner version. Let me see if I can share this.
Hi, I'm going to talk with the Oregon Vet Board here soon. I'm going to talk to them about Daniel Kohler.
How does that look? Can folks see that okay?
I'm going to talk with the Oregon Vet Board here soon about Daniel Kohler and
I'll scan down.
other concerns.
So folks can have a look at this.
Thank you for your patience, you guys. Blah, blah, blah.
That takes us down to the bottom of this letter. So this is about a fee for prescriptions. This is something we often get information on. So the board can determine if we want to discuss this further. We can add it to an agenda item for a future board
Oh wow,
meeting,
thanks
if
for the
necessary.
rose. I've never gotten anything before. This is my first
You
time
wanna-
going live.
So,
Would
Pete,
you-
I would not even have that discussion about future board meeting without a quorum. So I would just return to this once you have a quorum and then ask that question of the board members then.
Okay.
I don't think the board members give any fucks.
All right.
They're a joke,
I'm gonna stop
which
sharing this
is
one.
what other veterinarians have told me. I'm not a veterinarian,
And then, our next
but they
item
told me the
will
Oregon
be
Vet Board is a joke.
a
That
letter
that
regarding
doesn't mean we
CBT
don't try.
applications from Crystal Bloodworth, DVM, and Bailey Jallow, CBT.
I wrote down what I'm going to say. Do you think they're going to care? Do you think they're going to tell us any updates? Yeah, I doubt it. I've spoken with the board twice already. 2025. Talked to them about Daniel Kohler. Doing it again. I'm gonna put my foot on their throat. Wow. Sorry it's taking so long, you guys. I appreciate the patience. Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous, you guys. I'm not very good at public speaking. But it's for a good cause. I'm gonna try to be at every public meeting they have this year. I think they have meetings like every couple of months. I am happy that a lot of people did show up for the cause. It means a lot. Oh, God. You know, the board, they've had many, many years to get Daniel Kohler out of veterinarian medicine, but they don't. They don't do anything. You know, they tell us to be patient, but I mean, it's been like...
I was muted. Right.
Oh my God.
I was revisiting this letter. I just kind of detailing this letter. This is related to euthanasia and, questions about the training process. And so this is something we can review as a board more fully when we have quorum.
A vet in Oregon.
So the next item is...
I forget her name. I know it's Dr. Brenda, but she just
a little bit more
got in trouble for
Joanna.
doing the animals' drugs.
Think can we...
And
The board
she
can't discuss
is only
anything,
going to
so
get like
you might wanna
probation
put
for
that
a
later
little
on the
bit.
agenda.
She can
Okay.
still
I'm
keep
gonna
her
jump
vet
in
license, her drug
so.
license.
And then a topic you want, Cynthia.
Okay, reminder to everyone to stay muted if you're not speaking to the meeting, to the group. Okay, so we could review it, or should we just wait?
I mean, Pete, that's up to you, whether you think you want to wait or have them review it now.
Since this is a specific request for a waiver, I think we should wait and make sure that we've got quorum, and maybe we can go into public comments, and then
Yes.
maybe by the time we get done there, we could look at this more closely with Reagan. Does that sound okay, Dr. Rinaldi?
I think that makes sense. I think we'll have to kind of revisit that anyway. So yeah, I say we bring it back.
Okay. And again,
I'm not going to say this to them, but
for our own
I honestly believe
reminder and for
that
our
the Oregon Vet Board is
we're
doing
really,
drugs.
Trying to follow
I know that sounds crazy, but all the facts are there.
There's things we can do when we have
I'm not
quorum, and
gonna
there's
say
things we can
anything.
do we can't do if we don't have quorum. So we're just trying to make sure we're doing everything properly, and so that we can give these things its proper attention. But with that, I think we are ready to go into
Okay.
public comments
All right, you guys.
with our folks that have joined us here today. And I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure where we want to start with that. Maybe just go down the list.
And you want to read in the comments section, Pete?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Okay, excellent. So we now move into public comments for those items not on the agenda. Comments, please, must be limited to 3 to 5 minutes, and we have a limited 1 hour for the full comment period. For planning and scheduling purposes, the board requests public participants to notify the office in advance if you wish to address the board. I'm sorry, Pete, you were saying, do we have
We had a number of people say, specify that they had some things to state specifically to the board, but we didn't hear from everybody. Others might have some things, but maybe we start with the folks that we know have comment to share. Alicia Bice, did you say you had a comment to share with the board?
No, just here for support
Okay.
and observation.
Okay.
I really appreciate the support.
And MK, I think you said you had comment.
Yes, I do.
This is Melissa.
Sorry, Melissa Costa.
Yes, hi, Peter.
Hi,
Are you guys ready for me?
ready to go.
Perfect. So my name is Melissa. I wanted to comment on the current model the board uses to properly investigate veterinarians in our state. The board keeps repeating, file the complaints. We can't do anything unless the public files the complaints. And I get how that might work in any normal instance. But the issue with this model is that the majority of people whose pets were harmed by, in this case, Dr. Daniel Kohler, don't even know that they are a victim or were a victim until some years later. Maybe they were lied to, like we were with our dog. Dr. Kohler told us that she had cancer and that's why he had to operate, mind you, with no scans, our consent,
You got this,
no
Melissa?
consent, and with
So
a revoked
sad.
license at the time. He lies, the clinic staff lie, pet owners are misled into believing that their experience was a one-off, when in fact it's a pattern. The victims don't even realize that they are a victim until they happen to see a news story, an article, a social media post, or hear by word of mouth, just exactly the type of human who treated their pet, Dr. Kohler. By this time, often years have passed. They don't have the records or the proof they believe is needed to file the complaint. Maybe they do decide to file the complaint, but then they see the many stories online of Dr. Kohler and Companion Pet Clinic using threats, aggression, and legal action to intimidate victims,
Stalking.
and decide that their personal safety is more important than pursuing accountability. That doesn't mean that their stories aren't valid. All of these issues, because in my opinion, AVMEB has chose to protect the veterinarian, no matter how absurd that is in this case, instead of the public, as their mission statement suggests. It could even be argued that by failing to take a more proactive approach and by leaving it up to the public to seek justice and spread awareness, that the board is putting the public in danger of retaliation by Kohler and clinic staff. We've all read the stories about Dr. Kohler going after people for simply being decent human beings and speaking out. Why would the board put the public in that situation in the first place?
Yes.
It seems not just flawed, but broken. I also wanted to address a common hot topic often discussed by the public, that people who take their pets to Companion Pet Clinic deserve what they get because they chose, they chose a cheap clinic that fits their budget. That way of thinking needs to stop. People should never be punished or blamed for actively seeking veterinary care for their pet. It shouldn't be the sole responsibility of the public to research every veterinarian that they consider. We don't do that with doctors. We trust that the oversight in our state aligns with public safety, though that does not seem to be the case here. I would also like to add that many people are still unaware of Dr. Kohler's past and the reputation of Companion Pet Clinic. Maybe they're new to the area, they're young and just starting out, they're not on social media, they don't watch the news, they have language barriers. Again, that's not the problem. The problem is a board that allows a clinic like Companion Gresham to keep its doors open and prey on these individuals. And what's starting to happen now is that members of the public are questioning important information being shared about Dr. Kohler. They think there's no way this can be this bad and he still have a license. If this were true, he'd be in prison. Yet here we are. Lastly, time is of the essence. Every day that the board claims to be investigating, more pets are being subjected to potential harm at Companion Pet Clinic Gresham. Why Dr. Kohler's license has not been suspended pending the outcome of this current investigation is maddening. His license should have never been reinstated after being revoked in the first place, which typically implies a permanent loss of license. My final question, and I'll leave you guys all with this today, is how does allowing Dr. Kohler a veterinary license benefit the board? If no benefit to the board, then why reward him with a license to practice and harm pets?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Great job.
Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate the comments.
Yes, thank you.
I have Helen Holiday.
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Did you have public comment to share with the board today?
I do. So I've spoken with the board before, twice in 2025, and I'm just here again because still there has been recent events at the Gresham Clinic affecting real people, and still there's been no justice for the animals harmed by Daniel Kohler and his associates. And in my opinion, that failure rests with this board. When credible harm is documented and no decisive action follows, the board is complicit through inaction. Accountability delayed is accountability denied. And the absence of justice actively endangers future animals and it erodes public trust. The community has been responding for justice. We have a Facebook page, a group. It's called Companions for Justice. It is full of firsthand accounts from people who did experience the horrible conditions, violence to their pet, lack of accountability. I really, really hope that you just go and check it out for yourself. There also are active protests every weekend near the clinic from victims and others who are concerned of the abuse dealt by Dr. Kohler and others like him. And then there's no short supply. And because after doing research, I have found that there are multiple veterinarians with documented patterns of substance abuse and animal harm who have been allowed to continue practicing. And when the board fails to act on known risks, it does not protect animals or people, and it enables further abuse. We see who does and does not act to this injustice. I would hope that you would care to be on the right side of history. I do want to personally invite you to the protest this Saturday. I'll be there early morning, probably around 10 or 11. I would love to see you there, even if it's for a little bit. You know, it's a great opportunity for you to really connect with the community that are working hard to spread awareness so no one else has to become a victim. That's about it. Thank you for your time. I wanted to say also thank you to everybody who showed up. It really means a lot. I was also wondering, Peter, if you could share any updates with us at all.
Thank you, Whitney, for your comments. As far as updates go in a specific case or investigation on a specific licensee, I cannot provide that information.
Yep, because they don't care.
It's protected by rules related to confidentiality of an investigation. I can speak to our investigation process, and that aligns with every investigation of every licensee or unlicensed individuals in some cases. Every case that comes before the board, and one thing I can talk about is we receive a lot of complaints. We have two well experienced investigators that investigate these complaints wholly and thoroughly. They take all of the available information, and that is presented to the board. Every single complaint is reviewed by the board.
Look at them. They don't care. Look at them on the video.
And
they don't care. They don't
we
care.
go into
They don't
executive
care.
session because those things are protected.
They
It's
don't
an
care.
allegation.
They don't care.
It's not proven yet. Everybody's offered their due process.
See, it's a joke.
And that's part of that
Daniel
that right.
deserves his due process.
We do have an obligation of
sure.
public safety, and but we also have an obligation to that due process and make sure that we're getting our facts right,
So
reviewing
lame.
things as diligently as possible. And that's the reason for executive session review of investigations. And I can tell you, the board looks at every case and discusses it.
I don't believe them at all.
In every detail. And some of these
It's been
cases
proven
sometimes we
through
discuss
time.
for an hour or more, and over
Wow,
multiple
great
meetings.
job. An
Sometimes
hour?
the board says we want more
Wow.
information, go back and find it. I say this generally, but I say it generally because the board takes all these very, very seriously, and the board
That's not what I've been
looks at
told,
every
and that's
case
not what I
very
see at all.
seriously. And I am limited what I can say specifically, and I know that's frustrating. But that is what I can say right here. And I do appreciate your comments and everyone here that's here today to express their opinion to the board. That's how this system works. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you. Look at these people. They're just
I'm looking through
disassociating.
who I marked as comments. I know Arisa
They
Jeffries
do
had
not
comments.
care.
Ms. Jeffries?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I can unmute. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Arissa Jeffries. I'm here today because my dog Ace was injured in 2017 during what was supposed to be a routine neuter procedure at the companion pet clinic of Beaverton performed by Daniel Godcooler. Ace went into that clinic a happy-go-lucky dog, tail wagging, trusting.
Horrible.
After more than 5 hours in Daniel Kohler's custody, he did not come out of Kohler's custody the same dog. He suffered physical injuries and ocular hemorrhaging that clinic staff later misrepresented as medication side effects. This is a common misleading, and misrepresentation is not unique. It is the same conduct documented in California disciplinary records where staff were coerced into concealing injuries caused by Daniel Godcooler's inhumane handling. What has not changed over decades is the pattern of abuse behind Daniel Godcooler's closed clinic doors. What has changed is regulatory tolerance for intimidation, hostility, and silence that has created conditions where abuse to animals and humans can repeat for decades, while the board renews, reinstates, and a licensee with a long documented history of violent recidivism. What Oregon has had notice, knowledge, and foreseeability of Daniel Godcooler's dangerous handling and restraint practices since at least 1980, when California probationary findings were known to this board. Yet, despite that notice, Oregon communities have continued to bear the risk.
Don't believe them.
Clackamas, 2002.
Like I said, I've talked to multiple vets saying that the Oregon Vet Board is a joke.
Protesting, Gresham, 2026. The community is the only ones fighting against this violence towards our animals and towards public safety.
Exactly.
Oregon, over the past several years, I've listened closely to families whose pets were injured, traumatized, or killed while in Daniel Kohler's clinic custody. What initially appeared to be isolated tragedies revealed a consistent, repeatable pattern. Families describe the same sequence again and again. Their pet goes into clinic custody at Kohler-affiliated clinics. Something goes wrong. A crisis unfolds. They rush their animal to the nearest emergency hospital. Emergency teams focus on stabilization and survival. Families leave traumatized, confused, and financially devastated. Emergency hospitals are not the problem. They are the safety net. The failure occurs before and after that emergency handoff, where accountability disappears. Companion pet clinics are often described as affordable, but affordability cannot be measured by the initial invoice alone. True affordability must account for the total cost of crisis. Documented outcomes associated with these clinics include severe restraint injuries during routine procedures, immediate emergency transfers, euthanasia because the damage could not be reversed, botched or incompetent surgeries requiring correction, long-term physical disability, neurological and behavioral damage requiring months or years of rehabilitation, and Lori McKinnon said it best. He is butchering our animals and will not stop on his own. These outcomes cost families thousands of dollars. When an animal is rushed from Daniel Godcooler's clinic to an emergency hospital or euthanized because the abuse cannot be undone, this veterinary service is neither affordable nor humane. It is a transfer of risk onto the most vulnerable families and animals. Now, I want to address the critical legal failure. In 2003, the Oregon legislature enacted mandatory reporting laws after finding a direct link between animal abuse and human abuse. Veterinarians were given a duty to report aggravated animal abuse and immunity when reporting in good faith. Aggravated animal abuse includes reckless conduct causing serious injury or death, especially where there is a prior conviction. Daniel Godcooler was convicted of aggravated animal abuse in 1979. During that criminal trial, SPCA witnesses testified that he followed their vehicles, harassed them, intimidated them, conduct that constitutes witness tampering. This is exactly why the legislature recognized animal abuse as a public safety issue, not a bedside manner issue. Yet for decades, The public and veterinary professionals have reported coercive intimidation, menacing behavior, and violent abuse in Daniel Kohler's clinics. These complaints have routinely been dismissed as outside the board's jurisdiction, despite mandatory reporting laws being in effect for over 20 years. Veterinarians, including board members, have a duty to report suspected criminal animal abuse to law enforcement. Yet, confirmed by state officials to me, those reports are not being made. Instead, families are redirected solely into administrative complaints where criminal conduct is filtered out and buried quietly in administrative files.
Ms. Jeffries, we're at 5 minutes. I do appreciate your time. Again, as we said before, we're just trying to be considerate of our time and other participants. Can you summarize yours in just a couple more seconds here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, repeat allegations should trigger escalated discipline. The decades-long pattern of dismissed complaints and continued licensure has produced measurable erosion of public trust in veterinary oversight because they no longer believe oversight systems will protect them or their animals. I am here today because silence has caused decades of preventable suffering for animals and our communities. Mandatory reporting exists to prevent this. Lack of enforcement has not. The erosion of public trust you are seeing today is not accidental.
I really do not like the board.
It is predictable result of decades of dismissed abuse. Public safety is not only about what happens to animals behind closed doors, it is also about how witnesses, clients, and community members are treated when they raise concerns. The board was created to protect animal welfare and public safety. That mandate only functions
Peter, you better let her
enforced.
finish.
The board has been drifting from the mission to protect animal welfare and public safety for decades. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Ms. Jeffries, thank you so much. I appreciate your sticking to our time constraints here. I appreciate your comments here before the board today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was tracking who had comments as we were reading in. That's all I tracked, but I do see Bradley Larios has his hand up. Bradley, do you want to make a public comment? Bradley, if you're muted if you have something to share with the board today. Okay, I'm not hearing anything from Bradley, but I will open it up to anyone else that has comments for the board.
I have a comment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jill?
My name is...
Thank you, go ahead.
Yes. My name is Jill Dominy, and I would like to go on record as agreeing with all of the statements made against Dr. Kohler and companion pet clinic aggression. I have lost 2 cats to companion pet clinic in the last year. One died within 2 days after just a standard routine neuter, and the other one died on the table with no answers and no really verifiable evidence that it was sickness or illness. It was, I was not notified when my cat died on the table. I had to call them to find out. When I did drop my cat off to be neutered, I had questions that were not answered. They were impatient and rude. And then with my first cat that I dropped off, he got very sick and had to be euthanized at an emergency vet 2 days after he was neutered, which should have been a standard routine neuter. He was a nice, healthy 5-year-old cat, and this should not have happened. And this story goes on and on and on. I have met dozens of people who have gone to this pet clinic with the same exact stories. Something has to change. That is all I have.
Thank you, Jill. Anyone else have any information to share with the board during
I
public?
do. I was over and I'm sorry about that.
Oh.
I had a tech.
Okay, thank you, Bradley. Go ahead. Mr. Larios?
Hey, my name is Scott Larios. I'm a prominent Conic Corso breeder in the Pacific Northwest. Our family has 30 years of history of bringing this breed from endangered to AKC registered. We played a major part of that. In about 2020, I don't have the specific date in front of me, Daniel Kuller was visited by me and my family to bring a fresh litter of puppies to them to have tails docked and dew claws removed as part of the AKC's breed standard for what we do. This was a routine surgery. This is something that we've had several vets do. We've had 0 complications in the past from having this work done from Barclay Hills Animal Clinic all the way down to Hannah the Pet Society. So when I brought these dogs in for Daniel Kuller to do the tails and dew claws, these puppies came back with infections. These puppies came back sick, bleeding and hemorrhaging, and I lost an entire litter of 8.
Oh my God.
This destroyed our public reputation, caused an investigation of animal cruelty with AKC because we lost an entire litter, and damaged our public reputation in a company that we've been doing animal outreach, rehoming, rescue, and controlled and organized dog breeding for years. When I brought this up to them and told them that complications stemmed from this, I was 86th from the Gresham location. I was investigated for apparently torching a car, which never happened. A lot of accusations took place, which is really never the case. When I brought this up to the Oregon State Veterinary Board, you guys brushed it off like it was nothing. It took 6 months for you guys to get back to me, and when you guys did, it was fruitless. When I brought it back up to their business to tell them that they've done harm, they didn't care. This is the same behavior that we're seeing from a million other people who are right here in this meeting telling you that this guy is bad news, that he kills animals, he doesn't care, and it's not just him. It's pretty much everyone in the Companion Vet Clinic's organization that are complicit with his behavior. And there are other veterinarians under that organization's wing who do close to the same thing. My vehicles were followed. I was threatened. I had people come to my house in Troutdale. Remember, this is in Gresham, so this is not a far reach for them. I was harassed. I received leaflets and things on my vehicles. Things left on my door. Threatening messages. I had public issues with Facebook, including being told that I was selling animal parts on Facebook Marketplace, like decapitated animals. It's the weirdest thing on the planet. And this happened the second I brought it up to their administration, that he killed an entire litter of puppies.